Good day, mates. So, Super Tuesday is tomorrow, or today when I upload the video. So, I'll go quickly over the data, what we have right now. So, apparently, the RNC delegates in Missouri have stated that they are intending to support Trump. So, that is all the delegates, and we had the DC primary. So, that was a third of the vote went to Trump. I'll just pick up the green papers for that one. RNC. And then the DC. Yep. Here we go. So that was 678 votes for Trump. So that's 33.3% of the vote exactly. Haley got 1,274, which is 62.8. That's the majority, so she automatically gets everything. Funny thing about this, voting started on Friday, March 1st, and the counting was on March 3rd. So it took the Republicans in Washington, D.C. 3 days to count slightly over 2,000 votes. Just so you know. That's it for everything what we have right now. Today is North Dakota. And the rule for North Dakota is actually very simple. If you get more than 60% of the vote, you get all the delegates, else it's proportional with a 20% threshold. So, this is a closed caucus, which simply put is going to mean that Trump is going to easily get everything. So we keep it there. Furthermore, now it's up to Super Tuesday. So, Alabama. I'm just going to do these alphabetically, by the way. RCP and 538, I took both of them, looked at them. If RCP had a number, I'm using theirs. If they didn't, then I would be using Nate Plastic. So, Alabama, 81.5% for Trump, 14% for Haley. And that simply means if you get a majority statewide, you get all those delegates. So that's 29. And for each congressional district, there are 3 delegates. And Trump's going to get everything for that as well. So that's 50 delegates for Donald Trump for the state of Alabama. Now we have Alaska. And Alaska is a strictly proportional vote with a 13% threshold. So, this is a closed caucus. However, last time around, Ted Cruz won Alaska with at least 36-33, so that's about a 3-point victory. Trump is going to get this time around, I think, about 60% of the vote, which would translate to 17 delegates. Haley gets the rest. Arkansas. There isn't any polling for this, but this is an open primary, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it's going to be about the same as Michigan, maybe the same as South Carolina. Does it matter? No, not really, because there are 4 congressional districts. Trump's going to win all 4 of them outright, so that's 12 delegates. Then for the remaining, any candidate that scores more than 15% of the vote gets a delegate, so that's Trump and Haley. And if you get the majority statewide, you get everything else. So that's 39-1 in the state of Arkansas. California. Trump is polling at a 70% aggregate, and it simply means winner take all provisions start in. So Trump gets all those delegates. Colorado, strictly proportional in a semi-closed fashion, and there's a 20% threshold. So I believe it's going to be about a 60-40, which means Trump gets 22, Haley gets the rest. Maine, that is a winner-take-all provision, and Trump is definitely leading in Maine, so that's 20 delegates for Trump. Massachusetts, winner-take-all provision. Trump is polling at about 65%, so that's going to be everything. Minnesota, this one's a little strange. Trump is polling roughly at 76, and Haley at 14. Now, the funny part about this is Trump isn't getting the 80%. He needs to make it a winner-take-all. However, It doesn't look like Haley's going to get the 20% threshold either, which would still make it a winner-take-all position. So, about that. Is there a chance that Trump is going to win the 15 delegates outright? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to keep it at this. I don't think Nikki Haley is going to get 20% of the vote. This is a closed primary, so it's going to be probably around the margin of I want to say Northern South Carolina. I want to say probably Idaho. Maybe 5 points towards Haley's direction, so it's going to be an 80-20 split, but slightly under 20 for Haley. So 15 delegates. Then there is the 24 congressional delegates. Haley is going to do pretty well in the 3 suburban districts, or the urban districts for the one that has Phillips. So that's the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, and maybe the 2nd district. That's where she's going to do well. Those other 4 districts, Trump gets everything, so it's 27. For the other ones, I'm going to be generous, and I'm going to give Haley 4 delegates. North Carolina. The delegates for the congressional districts are on a 2/3 majority basis. Trump is polling at 70% statewide, so I'm just going to assume that is linear over everything. However, there are 3 congressional districts that Trump may perform a little less at, which would be the Charlotte, and so that's Adams district. Then you have the 2 other ones with closer to Raleigh. Everything else, Trump is going to easily win there, so I'm just going to, at the moment, say 42 delegates. Now, the remaining 32 are proportional with a 20% threshold, and there's no winner-take-all provision. So, Haley performing at roughly 22% would translate in her getting 7 delegates. Trump gets everything else. Finally, we are at the remaining of the last 6 states. So we have Oklahoma, that is a closed primary with a winner-take-all provision, and Trump is currently polling at close to 90%, so it's going to be everything. Tennessee, Trump is polling at 81%, and here you have 27 delegates for congressional districts with a 2/3 requirement to seize all delegates. Statewide, you have an additional 31, which are also with a 2/3 majority. So that's Trump winning all of it. Texas, next, 161 delegates, so that's 47 statewide and 114 for each congressional district. Trump is polling at 82%, so we're going to do that. And there's no winner-take-all provision, except for the statewide vote. So the statewide, the 47, if you get 50%, you get 47 delegates. There is no winner-take-all provision like in California, and I think the Texas GOP should really change that. Next up, let's do Vermont, because this one's really easy. Winner-take-all provision, else proportional. Now, Trump is polling at slightly above 60%, so that means he gets everything. Virginia, you have 12 delegates statewide. If you get more than 50%, you get all of them. And then you have 33 for the congressional district. Same thing. So, at the moment, I'm going to say 45 for Trump. However, there are some congressional districts, the 2nd, the 4th, and then the 3 in the Alexandria Nova area that are slightly more towards Haley. So there is a chance that she could win maybe 2 or 3 of these districts, but I find that unlikely. The 3 RNC ones are unbound, and they are actually going to be assigned at the convention. So that's the RNC in Milwaukee in July. That's when the 3 ones from Virginia are allocated. Last one for Super Tuesday is Utah. This one is a proportional allocation with a 15% threshold, with a winner-take-all provision. Trump, the latest poll that I've seen, which is from Deseret News, has him at 49 to Haley at 22. Now, I think it's going to be slightly more than that. However, Utah is kind of an unfriendly state for Trump. This is the one state that is least likely for Trump to win. However, I think it's going to be a 55 to 45 margin. Simple majority. Trump gets all the delegates. Now, that means at the end of the day, Super Tuesday, Trump is at 1,099 delegates, Haley at 82. You need 1,219 delegates to get the nomination. That means Georgia with 59, Mississippi with 40, Washington with 43, which are all going to be winner-take-all provisions. I'm just going to do this, show you. So these are on the 12th. Those 3 states together make sure that Trump gets the nomination. So tomorrow we have basically the giant sledgehammer hit towards Nikki Haley's face. And then next week it's going to be the knockout fatality punch, essentially. That's it. And of course Hawaii is the real funny one, and I'm going to explain that later in a later video, I think about next week, next Monday or something. At the same time, the further territorial areas, so that's American Samoa, Guam, the Mariana Islands and Puerto Rico, they also all get to vote. But those are going to be a bit scattered throughout. So we don't really get the proper data for that and polling. But assume they're going to go the same way as the Virgin Islands did, which means it's going to be unanimous for Trump. So those are additional delegates for Trump in the case that for some reason the winner-take-all isn't triggered in Georgia, Mississippi or Washington. Which they are. So that's it for the Super Tuesday update. Enjoy watching. I think I'm going to be watching Sticks for the Super Tuesday. There's not really anything else to say about this video for now. So, thank you kindly for watching. See you next time. Cheers.